Pitino versus Izzo in March. Richard Pitino, that is. His dad, Rick, going from coach to dad after St. John's lost to Arkansas on Saturday. Rick, a big Lobos fan, looking to see if New Mexico can punch its ticket to their first Sweet 16 in program history. Early first half, Mustafa Amsil for 3. Lobos up by 8. Rick loves it. Likes what he sees. Mid-first half, Donovan Dent running floater. Lobos up 10. They're largely to the game. Dent finished with 14. Late first half, Jeremy Fears Jr. to Jaden Akins. Slams it down. Spartans, though, trail by 2 at the break. Tom Izzo, 12 wins when trailing at halftime in NCAA tournament games. Opening minute of the second half. Michigan State down 2. Shimon Zapawa working. Gets the tip in, and the Spartans tied at 31. 13 to go, now tied at 39. Trey Holloman, friendly roll in Cleveland. Spartans up 2. Next Michigan State possession. Akins, catch, shoot, 3 buckets. Up 5. Akins finished with 16. Under 7 to play. Michigan State up 3. Trey Holloman to Frankie Fiddler. Banks it in, plus the foul, up 5. Next possession. Jackson Kohler almost loses it. Finds Fiddler. Lays it up and in. Spartans up 7. Fiddler had 10. 2 minutes later, Jace Richardson drives out to Holloman for 3. Got it. Up 9. Michigan State's bench outscored New Mexico's bench 36-7. Under a minute to play. Fiddler with the air ball. Richardson grabs it. Up and in, his only made field goal of the game. Spartans win it 71-63. A tough weekend for the Pitino family. Tom Izzo marches on as Michigan State advances to the Sweet 16 for the 16th time under Tom Izzo, most by any Big Ten head coach. And Tom Izzo earning his 13th win when trailing at the half in an NCAA tournament game. Michigan State marching on.
Congratulations. Why was your defense so great down those last 7-8 minutes?
Yeah, because we rested the first half.
Yeah.
We didn't play any of the first half. So, really disappointed in that, but I'm really proud of my guys for coming back around. They create some problems. He's a hell of a coach, did a hell of a job. But, Chase Richardson couldn't buy a bucket. Money time, he came back. Jeremy Fears played awfully well. Jay Nakins, Cohen Carr. So we had some guys that really played well, but we've hung our head on our defense for 6 games, and all of a sudden we're going to be an offensive team.
But what does it say about your team that you can win a game like this with only 1 made field goal from Jace Richardson?
Well, that says a lot, because he's been an 18-point scorer here the last 6-7 games, and that's what I said. I think a lot of guys deserve some credit for that. Not me, but those guys.
What does it say, though, about your team that you're in this position and going up against Ole Miss in the Sweet 16? You've played Chris Beard before in the Final Four. Your thoughts on the Rebels?
I didn't know they won. They won?
They beat Iowa State.
Well, I played Chris Beard before. I know his team are going to come at you tooth and nail, and they're going to be good defensively, and they're going to play hard. But can I enjoy this till I get through the locker room? Then I'll worry about Chris when I get on the airplane.
You can enjoy it. Safe travels, Tom.
Thanks, man.
Tom Izzo winning in March, matching John Calipari for the most Sweet 16 appearances among active head coaches. But I'll go a step further. Izzo, the only head coach with multiple Sweet 16s in each of the past 4 decades. 1 national title to his name in 2000, chasing another one, looking to cut down nets ultimately in San Antonio.
All right, welcome back to the interview room here at Rocket Arena and the 2025 NCAA Tournament. We're joined now by the Michigan State Spartans, 71-63 winners over the New Mexico Lobos to advance to the Sweet 16. Please raise your hand for a microphone to be brought to you, and when you do ask a question, please introduce yourself and your affiliation. We'll do a quick opening statement from Coach Izzo, and we'll get to as many questions as we can. Coach?
Cohen, we're going to Atlanta, and all the meals are on you, right, guys?
Yeah, I got you.
You got me covered?
Yeah.
Well, opening statement is, another team that really, I thought, played well. The first half of that game, that was as good of a barrage as we've had hit us. It wasn't that we were down a lot, 10 points, but it just seemed like, we weren't guarding, and they were making shots. And give them credit. I thought from about the 9-minute mark on, we did a better job in the first half. And I thought second half, even though they shot a pretty good percentage, I think, Yeah, 48%. I'm not sure there's anybody shot that against us, but they're talented. They're good. And they had a kid, Izzo, played out of his mind. I thought he had 12 at halftime. He's making threes. He's doing everything. I thought Jeremy and Jaden and Trey all did a good job on Dent. And Dent is a hell of a player, but I thought we got our break going when we got our defense going, and we rebounded the ball pretty well. I don't know what the final total was, by 6. But that's a talented, well-coached team, and I'm just happy we got the win. I'm happy we showed a little character after we got down and weren't playing very well.
Thanks, Coach. We're going to lead off here in the first row.
Lindsey Huddleston, Sports Psychology Solutions, SBS. Coach, this is for you. After the Wisconsin win, when you were on the dais.
Student athletes first, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. No problem. To these guys, what is it like? Coach always talks about a ugly win over a pretty loss. You guys had to grind it out. Jay, you want to talk about what it was like grinding it out?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, a win is a win. I feel like good teams find a way to win, and that's what we did. We started ugly. They got out on us in the beginning, but we just tried to stay solid throughout the game.
Row 3.
Dan Lobby, Cleveland.com, for the three of you. I think it was 1 field goal in the last 9 minutes of the first half. How much pride do each of you take on the defensive end and winning this game that way?
I mean, yeah, a lot. We felt like we was getting punked in the first part of the game, so we just made a decision to get stops, and I think that helped us get our offense going.
Right side, 4th row.
Sports Report. Jaden, questions for you. New Mexico had their last lead with 14-31 in the second half, and then you hit that big 3 to take the lead with 7:07 left, and then, of course, you guys held on to the lead the rest of the way. How big of a shot was that, not only for you, but for the rest of the team, to put you guys in front and then keep that lead as well throughout the rest of the game?
Oh, yeah, I feel like it was pretty big, just giving us the lead, gave us some momentum. I think they called a timeout. So that just gave us
more exciting.
that just gave us a lot of confidence, and it felt good. I mean, I ain't been shooting good, so it was just good to be efficient today.
We're going to go row 1 and then row 2.
Travis Nelson, Willoughby News Herald. This is for Jaden and Trey, both of you guys. I mean, it felt like the veterans stepped up for you guys tonight. I mean, you two and Frankie. It just felt like the upperclassmen showed out today. So what are your thoughts on what motivated you in that half to not will you guys to the win?
Trey, why don't you take that one?
We started out slow, so I was just trying to like bring some like juice off the bench, and then with like my scoring, and then like my defense, and then just like being a leader, being a point guard out there, being the captain, just like trying to go out there and just play hard for my teammates.
Row 2 here.
So it's Ole Miss and Michigan State in the Sweet 16, and they will be playing in Atlanta. They'll be moving on from Cleveland there. Tom Izzo, 16 Sweet 16 appearances, most by any Big Ten head coach. Spartans, keep on dancing. This NCAA tournament recap is presented by Belfour Property Restoration. Back here in studio, Tim Doyle, Matt Norlander. Matt, look, Michigan State's a team that you and I have been watching. We've been in studio together watching this Spartan squad. What'd you see out of Michigan State as they rally from a 10-point deficit?
Some good resolve here. New Mexico came out looking really, really strong and maybe giving us a chance to have a mid-major into the Sweet 16. That is not going to happen. Michigan State really pulled it together in the second half, and Tom Izzo's team collectively put on the kind of performance that has been reflective of what MSU has been for the entire season. I was in Maui all the way back in November. In some ways that feels like last month, in other ways it feels like 10 months ago, but that team really showed initial signs of being a top 10 level kind of team. And here, with the benefit of having a solid home contingent there, Jaden Akins had himself a nice game, and you saw a really good distribution across the board. And they also got a little bit of what they wanted to get going in terms of transition offense, and ultimately it paid off. And New Mexico it wore down eventually, and Sparty moves on, yet another power conference team into the regional semis.
Donovan Dent did not have a three-pointer in this game.
No, and
I know that wasn't all of it, but Nelly Jr. Joseph fouled out. Like it just They needed bigger performances from those two.
Dent had some key turnovers down the stretch. He had 4 of those. He was only 7 of 18 from the field. Before the game started, we said, this cannot be a game that Donovan Dent doesn't go out in there and get you 20 points. Well, if he would have got you 20 points, it might have been a different result. But as for Michigan State, nothing flashy. Like, this is what they do. In this particular game, yeah, starters were maybe just average or subpar. Bench was outstanding. They won the free throw shooting contest. They were a +14 at the free throw line. They won the fast break competition. They won 17-3, outscoring New Mexico. They had 11 offensive rebounds. When I used to play against Michigan State, we were all like, oh, super physical. They get the football pads out in practice. They got away from that, Matt. They're back to that now. When I see this team, reminds me of like the old school Tom Izzo teams. Nothing flashy, total team effort, and Hakimi nailed it. They just wore down Mexico.
You look at what this team was able to do and the theme of these Michigan State wins. We've done this 10 times this season where they've scored 40 or more points off the bench. Didn't get 40 in this one. They got 46 in their last one. They get 36 in this one, and that brings us to our Belfour player of the game. You could really just give it to the entire bench, Tim. I mean, the bench was awesome, led by Trey Holloman.
Oh, totally. Fiddler was great as well. Total team effort. I will give it to the bench. So not picking out one particular player. I think we all agree that, you know, Jace is their best player, Richardson. After that, 2 through 9 is kind of interchangeable. And it was really the bottom half of that team that picked them up. Total team effort, but that's what I expect from Michigan State. I have them going to the Final Four.
Me too.
I don't think they're going to blow anybody out, but, man, they are going to be tough to knock off.
4 of 15 from three-point range for Michigan State, so, again, not a good shot.
Well, that's been their MO, that's their theme.
Doesn't run into it.
Right.
Jaden Akins would be my guy if I had to pick a player of the game here. He had 16 points, was the most consistent factor over the course of 40 minutes to making sure that Michigan State got this win. He had a few really nice moments in the second half, so him stepping up big. Jace Richardson only had 6 points, and they didn't need him in a big spot there. That's not going to be able to continue. I don't know if it would be in the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight, but I promise you, Michigan State's going to need their dynamic freshman to step up and play better in one of the next 2 games versus what he did tonight. But New Mexico, you know, a little bit overwhelmed by MSU's depth, and no Nelly Jr. Joseph because of foul trouble was huge.
Michigan State 324 out of 364 in three-point field goal percentage. Does that give you pause for concern moving ahead? Or are they so deep they find ways to win? You're like, okay, they wear you down.
Of course, watching St. John's lose the way they did, of course there's a bit of concern when a team struggles from 3. But, you know, that's their identity. Like, if St. John's would have made 3 more threes, they would have won. If they would have made 4 or 5 more layups, they would have won. So, yes, there's always a cause for concern when the team's not a great three-point shooting team. I just hope this doesn't happen, Matt. I thought it got in St. John's head because all year long we heard that narrative. And, you know, we saw it with Memphis in 2008. Oh, not a great free throw shooting team. What happened? Like, reared its head at the ugliest time possible. So, yes, I guess it's got to be in the back of your head that they're not a great three-point shooting team.
All right, let's focus now on the Sweet 16 here as we've got these 4 teams going to Atlanta, 2 of them from the SEC, so not a far drive for Auburn. It's about an hour away from their campus. Ole Miss is going to be playing Michigan State. You have the 2 big powerhouse teams, Michigan and Michigan State, in the same region there. So shouts to the great state of Michigan. And I say that as an Ohio native. I mean, have a day, Michigan and Michigan State. So you look at Ole Miss, you look at Michigan State. Ole Miss, they're going to want to run. Michigan State's going to want to slow it down. Michigan State now, they're 20-1 when allowing less than 70 points this season as you update this one here. 20-1 when allowing less than 70.
Yeah, this is going to be an intriguing matchup. By the way, the tip times are in. This is going to be the Friday night, 7:09 tip on CBS. Ian Eagle, Bill Raftery, Grant Hill, Tracy Wolfson on the sideline. You will have a lot of SEC flavor in the building.
Sure.
This is a very intriguing head-to-head matchup. Beard, Tom Izzo, tacticianship is going to be tremendous here. And we'll see, you know, will will Malik Dia have to step up big and be physical against that Michigan State front court? I think so. Will Sean Padula be able to overcome whatever Michigan State throws at him on the defensive end? Absolutely. But rest assured, one of Beard's calling cards is he's really good at scouting and taking away what you do best. If that's a specific player, a specific action, a specific trend, he really has proven over the years to be really good at reducing that. So if that does happen indeed with Michigan State, see what they can rely on. Can it just be the depth? Can it be the bench? Can they step up there? That's been a calling card for MSU this season. They have been able to rely on 4 or 5 different guys on a given night. I actually do think that the matchup overall sets up pretty well for Sparty.
Does the run come to an end for the Rebels? Tim Doyle.
I have Michigan State coming out of the region, so that's all I'm going to say.
There you go.
No more bulletin board material. Chris Beard, you get paid $5 million a year. You can figure out a way to motivate your team in the Sweet 16 game. I'm done. I'm staying away from Ole Miss. I have Michigan State winning that region.
Okay, there you go. So I guess you could take that up with Auburn and Michigan fans now. They're gonna come after you. So they're gonna come after you as well. You can't please everybody, okay? That's just not how it goes. You know, Tom Izzo. Look at this.
By the way, Tom Izzo, I think that might be the best picture he's ever taken.
It's a great photo.
He legit.
All 3 of them look great.
He looks like he fell out of The Godfather 2 right there.
That photo is a minimum of 12 years old.
Most Sweet 16 appearances among active head coaches. Tom Izzo now tied with John Calipari, both into the Sweet 16. Tom Izzo headed to Atlanta. John Calipari headed to San Francisco.